Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this occasion, I want to explain about our material, and the material is about student with special needs, mental and pronunciation. First, what the teacher do? Teacher in special schools should have appropriate stages in teaching English vocabulary for their student. Strategies the student will help them develop the vocabulary in the class. According to TEfYL, it is essential to know and understand the differences between the student learning styles in order to help the student learn and study. So, as a teacher, we must have special strategies. Okay, the next, what steps should be taken? Special education means specially designed instruction that meets unusual needs of an exceptional student, and which might require special materials, teaching techniques, or equipment, and or facilities. It means that the education for students with special needs should be particularly designed so that it can meet their special needs. The education design involves the learning materials, teaching techniques, and equipment or facilities. This study concerned with students with mentally retarded students in learning English vocabulary. Therefore, the learning materials and the teaching technique to teach vocabulary should suit them so the that the students are able to understand the materials given. In the case of English language learners with special education needs, it is a truth planning that teachers ensure well integrated instruction that simultaneously focus on student cultural characteristic language needs and identify these abilities. Okay, teacher strategies in ELT for mentally disabled students. The first is repeating the material. The second is giving example. The third is using song. And the last is giving reward. And the next is about teacher strategies in ELT for deaf students. The first is explaining the subject matter, and then using flashcard, and the last is asking the student to color the picture. And the last is how is the application it? The first, the teacher strategies in ELT to mentally disabled student. The first, repeating the material from student. Repeating in the material for the mentally disabled student might be a boring activity for the teacher as he should repeat the same material over and over again. But this will help the students so much in gaining the idea why they should learn English. And then the next is giving examples. One of the strategies used by the teachers of a mentally disabled student is by giving example to them. Some students might be confused. Teachers should start off the activity by checking and giving example to make sure they understand the material and know what they are doing. This is the primary teaching activity even for regular students. Writing down the subject matter, or in this case, in the English vocabulary, is the easiest way to teach the mentally disabled student. The student will follow the teacher by also writing down the words on their books and etc. If the words is easy to draw, the teacher will draw the objects or words on the blackboard and etc. This is so much easier to understand the word for the student. Another way of giving an example is to speak up the words. Okay, and the next is using songs. In language development, song take an important role as a flexible resource usually used by teacher. The repetition of a word in every song helps students to absorb and reproduce the language easily. When songs are used properly, it can be amazing and powerful when someone is learning a new language. This using song strategy is helpful for the teacher to teach English language vocabulary for mentally disabled students. Okay, and the next is giving rewards. Teacher might consider games as fun activities that might be a useful strategy in teaching vocabulary in the English language teaching or ELT. Games are helpful because they offer situations that give students chance to engage and participate in real communications. Teacher can use games to protect and check new knowledge, vocabulary, and grammar are good teaching instruments that can be used to widen student language learning. The winner of this game can be rewarded by applause or snack that can motivate the student to learn more and be more activities in class. And the second is the teacher's strategies in ELT for deaf students. The first, explaining the subject's matters. Explaining is the other strategy that is easier to do for the teacher in teaching English. For the deaf student, explaining is done by the teacher by writing down the words on the blackboard. As the deaf student have a listening problem that relate to their speaking problem, the teacher explained by speaking aloud, uh, speaking aloud the words by clear lips movements. This is also practicing the remaining listening and speaking ability of the student that they might listen and speak out a few words. This is a kind of treatment for deaf student. And the next is using flashcard. Teachers need to use media in order to make teaching situations to be active. The teacher has to improve the student with disabilities vocabulary in active learning by suitable media such as flashcards. Flashcards are sets of cards that give information. It usually has a picture and words or information on the other side. The picture of flashcard has a lot of varieties group. For example, group of picture animals, vegetables, numbers, part of body, transportations, and etc. By showing the flashcard, the student could memorize the word better because they know the actual things of the words which are new for them. And the last is asking the students to color the picture. These students are like the other normal student. They like colors and pictures. These students personally work like learning material in school with a real object and they can see. Conservation among the teachers and the deaf student may take too much time to teaching and learning process. Because with the help of real objects, color, and pictures, the student will be able to get engaged or motivated quickly in class during the teaching and learning process. The students are able to color the picture after all the material has been taught and learning, and the students are able to answer the question asked by the teacher. After doing the teaching and learning activity, coloring can be started by the student as the reward after following the lesson. Okay, I think that's all, and thanks for your nice attention. I hope this very useful for you guys. And the last I say, idina siratal mustaqim, wa muwafiq ila awamitorik. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.